All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning, 56 degrees. It is 8:20 on this Wednesday, October 9th. I'm Susan Richard. Here's what's happening. Fearful residents in Florida.
This one coming, we're going to lose everything.
Hurricane Milton approaches the Sunshine State as a monster storm and could make landfall as soon as tonight. Another day, another round of the shakeup in the Adams administration. We'll tell you who's out. As crime continues to run rampant along Roosevelt Avenue in Jackson Heights, residents now calling on Governor Hochul to do something. An MTA train operator, critical condition after being stabbed at a subway stop in Crown Heights. And an injury forced Justin Timberlake to postpone last night's concert in Newark just an hour before showtime. In sports, Mets go for the clincher tonight after taking Game 3 against the Phillies. Yankees play Game 3 of their division series against the Royals tonight in Kansas City. AccuWeather, a little bit of rain north and west of the boroughs this morning. Otherwise, partly sunny today and up to 67. Wednesday news time 8:21. Let's get traffic and transit on the ones with Karen Stewart.
We are going to Queens again first here.
It's going to be a little bit glary, folks, so I apologize if the screen gets blurry.
And it's in the fast lane. That's what's doing it to us. You can try the eastbound LIE instead, getting out to the Grand Central Parkway. Eastbound Belt near Merrick Boulevard.
We're here on 21st Avenue and Straight Street in Paterson, New Jersey, on our way to work.
Has emergency repairs from an earlier accident. The left lane is blocked there. We've got eastbound LIE to Lexington Junction that are very, very slow. Now, as we check the Hudsons, here's what you need to know about the bridges themselves. It's an hour in at the Holland. Absolutely an hour. It is 40 minutes in at the Lincoln Tunnel, the inbound GW Bridge, and the inbound the inbound side of the lower level, both with 45-minute numbers right now. Let's take a check of the mass transit. It's looking pretty good right now. We've had earlier problems on the LIRR's main line, but those trains have now come in. And on Long Island, the northbound Meadowbrook Parkway approaching M680 for the Southern State. Watch for slowdowns. There's an accident there. And we've got the Lupton Centers closed. Again, the LIRR is back on or close to schedule. Our next report's in less than 10. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Hurricane Milton now on track to make landfall in the Tampa, Florida area as soon as tonight. It's about 300 miles off the coast. It has ticked down a notch to a Category 4, but still, it's packing wicked winds and could bring a 15-foot storm surge when it comes ashore.
Some areas like north of Sarasota are still struggling to recover from Hurricane Helene. Todd Fleck says he and his wife are lucky to be alive after water rushed in their home during Helene.
The water on the street when we left, was at the level of the hood of the truck, which is about 4 to 5 feet.
Taking no chances this time, Erica Palazzo cut her Florida trip short, catching a flight back to New York.
Actually put the last 2 seats on the flight.
As evacuees worry about what's left behind.
That's correspondent Lionel Moyes. The Department of Homeland Security runs FEMA, and Homeland Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says they've got incident management teams, urban search and rescue, swift water rescue teams, and more.
Winds of this strength are going to destroy buildings. We're going to see flooding, and so the natural disaster impacts will occur. What we've got to do is keep people safe.
He spoke on the ABC Start Here podcast. President Biden has canceled a trip overseas to stay at home and monitor the situation. Animal rescuers on the case, getting shelter pets out of the path of the storm.
Best Friends Animal Society has already started working with our partner shelters in the state of Florida, supporting animal movement, setting up temporary shelters throughout the state.
Best Friends Senior Director of Strategic Programming, Fraley Rodriguez, he tells 1010 Wins just yesterday that included transporting 80 animals to a flight that was chartered by the Humane Society of the United States, which took them to the Florida Panhandle, which is not in the hurricane zone. Residents of one crime-infested stretch of Queens now calling on Governor Hochul to get involved.
Business owners will be gathering here on Roosevelt Avenue later today to ask for 100 New York State troopers to come in and help the NYPD crack down on all the crime here: prostitution, illegal vendors, drug sales. Maria Gutierrez owns Victory Pharmacy. She says those have been stealing from local businesses like hers, then have the nerve, she says, to come set up tables right in front of their store.
First of all, they try to block my entrance. So they spread their merchandise on the sidewalk. But sometimes they have shopping carts that they bring the merchandise in. They're blocking it, so we have to go and say, please move, please move.
Queens District Leader Hiram Montserrat.
I think that the fact is that we have so much criminal activity and gangs and prostitution really is overwhelming.
Now, in terms of these precincts, we've reached out to the NYPD for comment. Also, we've asked Governor Hochul for her thoughts on the trooper plan. Glenn Schuck, 1010 wins, 92.3 FM.
A win in Game 3 last night means the Magical Mets have a chance to finish off the Phillies this evening.
And Susan, when Jose Quintana takes the mound for the possible clincher on Odyssey Mets radio, he'll have some big shoes to fill.
4-0 Mets. 7th inning. Towels waving. 0-2. Got him swinging, sweeper down and in. 7 shutty for Sean Manaea,
who was backed by solo homers from Pete Alonso and Jesse Winker, while Starling Marte and Jose Iglesias both had 2-run singles, and the Mets rolled 7-2 for a 2-1 series lead. Meantime, the NFL, Jets owner Woody Johnson fired head coach Robert Saleh, replacing him for the rest of the season with defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich.
The change that we made today, that I made, I believe will bring new energy and positivity that will lead to more wins starting now.
And a win on Monday over Buffalo would put Gang Green in first place. Mark Renee, 1010 Win Sports on 92.3 FM.
Now Bloomberg Money Watch and Steve Potusk.
Being a Wall Street investment banker doesn't pay quite like it used to, Susan. While the average salary, including bonuses, was still an impressive just over $471,000 last year. That's about 5% below the previous year, and an even larger, nearly 9% decline once you factor in inflation. Still, according to the New York State Comptroller, the average pay remains the third highest on record. Now, employers are paying plenty when it comes to covering their employees' family health insurance. Nonprofit researcher KFF says the average employer-sponsored health insurance premium for families jumped 7% to nearly $25,600 this year. That compares to the overall inflation rate of about 3.2%. On Wall Street, S&P futures still down, only 2 points now. NASDAQ giving back 26, Dow futures in the red 13. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Steve Potusk for 1010 Wins and 92.3 FM.
Connection, opportunity.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Documenting History, October 9th, 2024. If you're watching this from the future, in the year 2030, this is what was going on today in the New York metropolitan area. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.